Hello, hola, ciao, bonjour, hello, hey, salut, zdravo, yassas, bok, and dadui, and welcome to you all to a brand new episode of Media Buffet. I'm Pancakes, and as you might have noticed by now, today we are discussing a multicultural matter. More than that, actually. Today we are discussing the largest song contest at the global level. That's right. Today we are talking Eurovision. Now, for those of you outside of Europe, what is Eurovision? Well, Eurovision, as I mentioned before, is the world's largest song contest. It's basically where members of the European Broadcasting Union, also known as the EBU, it's basically most of Europe plus a couple of exceptions like Australia and Israel, etc. Basically, the EBU's members pit against each other in a song contest. Each country that is a member of the EBU submits a song that will represent them at the national level. Not only that, but they will also compete against each other in a semi-final. They garner the votes, and those who qualify to the final, the bottom line is that the country with the most votes is the winner of Eurovision. Now, there are two types of votes. There's the jury vote, where each country has a specific set of judges that will vote on their behalf, and they each have a specific amount of votes that they can give to other countries. And basically, aside from that, there's also the public vote, where people from all around the world can actually cast their votes online. I think it's like $10 per vote. And they're combined with the jury vote to form the final vote that, once again, the country with the most combined jury and televotes is the winner of Eurovision. Now, it's normally tradition that the contest is held in the country where it was previously won. And since last year, the country was won by Sweden with Lorene's song Tattoo, the contest this year was held in the Swedish city of Malmö. Fun fact, Malmö is also the city where Zlatan Ibrahimovic, star football player, played with his first senior football club, FC Malmö. Now, moving on, today we're going to discuss this year's contest, which was once again held in Malmö, and the ups and downs of it and what happened between the contests that made it at least a bit special compared to other years. So let's get started. So I'm going to start by listing each individual country's entries into the Eurovision Song Contest. Basically, one thing I forgot to mention is that members of the EBU are usually the countries that actually participate, but not all members of the EBU actually participate. There are some countries that withdraw simply because they don't have the financial capacity to participate, or simply because they don't want to, like Turkey or Hungary. And basically, there's a lot of countries that actually don't participate simply because they don't want to. For example, those include Algeria, Andorra, I believe Bosnia, Bulgaria, what was the other one? Oh yeah, Bosnia, Bulgaria, I mentioned Andorra, Algeria. Another country that doesn't participate is Hungary, also Jordan, Lebanon. Yes, Moldova participated. Monaco hasn't participated. Montenegro, Morocco, North Macedonia. Another one that hasn't participated. I believe Romania didn't participate this year, but I'm not sure. Slovakia. I don't remember if Slovenia participated. I think they did, not sure. Tunisia, Turkey, and the Vatican. There are also a couple of members that were actually suspended from competing, such as Belarus, Libya, and Russia. Libya, I believe it was for their efforts during the Gaddafi era. Belarus, I'm not sure why, and Russia because of the recent political conflict with Ukraine, another fellow member of the EBU. But yeah, moving on. the countries that do participate this year, I will list them with their song and artist. This year, Albania participated with the artist Besa singing the song Titan, which was sung in English. Next up, we have Armenia with Ladaniva singing Yako in actually Armenian. This was like the yearly folklore song that people seem to love. Australia for some reason is a member of the EBU, had Electric Fields, the artist, sing One Milkali, also meaning one blood, which was sung in both English and Yankuntiatiara, which was, I'm pretty sure it still is, a tribal language within Australia. Austria sent Colleen to sing We Will Rave. This one gave me like 2010's pop vibes, which was pretty refreshing. Azerbaijan sent Farid and Ilki Tortarov to sing Ijunla Apar, which was sung in English and Azerbaijani. Next up we have Belgium with Musti singing Before the Party's Over. This was actually one of the favorites to win, but I believe the judges made it seem too generic, I'm not sure. Next up we have Croatia, which was one of the sure favorites to win throughout the whole competition, with Baby Lasagna singing Rimtim Tagidin, which was sung in English. Cyprus sent Sile Kapsis to sing Liar, also sung in English. Czechia sent Aiko to sing Pedestal in English. Denmark sent Sala to sing Sand in English. Estonia sent 5 Minust and Pulup to sing, that's a pretty complex pronunciation, I believe it's called Nendes Narkotigomides et Tiame Kul Midagi, which is sung in Estonian. It's basically a song about a drunk. Finland sent Windows 95 Man to sing No Rules, which is like pretty much like a 90s movie, like same song. France sent Slimane to sing one of the most beautiful renditions of anything I've ever seen, Mon Amour, a song sung in French. Georgia sent Nutsa Uzoladze to sing Firefighter in English. Germany sent Isaac to sing Always on the Run in English. Greece sent Marina Sati to sing Zari in Greek. Iceland sent Era Björk to sing Scared of Heights in English. Ireland sent Bambi Fugg to sing Doomsday Blue in English. Israel sent Eden Golan to sing Hurricane in English and Hebrew. Italy sent Angelina Mango to sing La Noia in Italian. Latvia sent Dons to sing Hollow in English. Lithuania sent Sylvester Belt to sing Luktel in Lithuanian. Luxembourg sent Fighter, no, not Fighter. Luxembourg, we'll get to later, sent Dali to sing Fighter in French and English. Malta sent Sara Bonici to sing Loop in English. Moldova sent In the Middle, Moldova sent Natalia Borubu to sing In the Middle in English. The Netherlands sent Joost Klein to sing Europapa, which was sung in Dutch. This was also a favorite to win for a while. Norway sent Gate to sing Ulveham in Norwegian. Pretty moving song. Poland sent Luna to sing The Tower in English. Portugal sent Yolanda to sing Grito in Portuguese. San Marino sent Megara to sing Once Once, which in English stands for 11 o'clock with 11 minutes, 11:11, which was sung in Spanish and Italian. Serbia sent Teodora to sing Ramonda, which was sung in Serbian. Slovenia sent Raven to sing Veronica, sung in Slovene. Spain sent Nebulosa to sing Sorra in Spanish. Sweden sent Marcus and Martinus to sing Unforgettable in English. Switzerland sent Nemo to sing The Code in English. Ukraine sent Aliona and Jerry Heil to sing Teresa and Maria, a song sung in Ukrainian and English. And finally, the UK sent Ollie Alexander to sing Dizzy in English. Now, we will move on, describing the most noticeable narratives from their participating countries, a total of 37, And a total of 26 moved on to the grand final. And yeah, let's get started with that. One of the most noticeable narratives was Croatia's participation, which was one of the fan favorites to win for a while. The song, Rentin Dagidin, is basically a motivational song with at the same time some melodramatic tones that describes a man, leaving his home for pastures anew, and it's basically him motivating himself to move forward and to not look back. And yeah, it's sung in a punk rock aspect. It's a pretty refreshing song. I suggest you all listen to it. Now, another one of the narratives was Estonia's song. I'm not going to mention it again, but it was the one by 5 Minutes Didn't Pull Up. Like I said before, it's a song about a drunk, I believe, and the gist of the song is that the main choreography of the song in the contest is a pretty memorable dance. It's catchy and stuff, and even the producers, while they were performing during the contest, actually danced to the song while they were performing, and that was actually pretty funny to see. Now, I would say the most impacting performance is Slimane Mon Amour for France. The guy has a voice, a definitely spectacular voice, and hey, it was deserved to be within the top ranks, honestly. They were one of the best songs, in my opinion. Now, one of the most common narratives recently within Eurovision is that specifically Germany and the UK always finish within the bottom positions, the last positions, and this year was no exception, because Germany's song, Isaac's song, Always on the Run. It's a good song by all means. All of these songs are good songs, well, most of them. However, Germany's song just seems slightly mediocre. The same thing happened with Belgium's Before the Party's Over. But yeah, both of them actually did pretty well. Unfortunately, Belgium didn't qualify for the final, but yeah, things happen. Now, the UK's issue was that Ollie Alexander's song, Dizzy. It's a catchy and good song by all means, but we'll talk about what happened later on in the final. Now, another one of the narratives was Greece. Greece was actually one of the better songs in this contest. It was a catchy song. It caught Greek culture pretty well. And not only that, they actually integrated it into their song and represented Greece with flying colors. Now, one of the other narratives was the controversy with Ireland's song, Doomsday Blue. And it's a good song by all means. However, what happened is that Bambi Fug's representation was as staging. Bambi Fug's representation was as staging during the competition resembled a bit of a demonic style. I'll say Bambi Fug's representation seemed it resembled pretty much those kinds of rituals, satanic rituals. And yeah, they had pentagrams, they had demonic presences. Those were the main themes, more or less, of the choreography during Ireland's performance. It pretty much resembled that. And yeah, basically, that was a source of controversy because for Eurovision viewers who were not friendly towards those kinds of themes, specifically religious figures, criticized Ireland's performance for promoting such themes. And yeah, faced controversy, but Ireland ended up getting within the top ranks. So, points for uniqueness, I guess? Yeah. Another controversy, which I would say is the biggest controversy of all the contests, is basically Israel's participation. Once again, Eden Golan represented Israel by singing Hurricane. By all means, the song itself, separating Israel from the label, the song itself and the artist did a spectacular job. It was a great song with great staging, and it was a great song overall. To me, I think it deserved to be within the top ranks. The artist who sung it is a very talented woman. However, the controversy that surrounded Israel doesn't have to do anything with the artist or the song itself. She did a great job. Basically, the controversy that surrounded the country was given the political conflict they have recently within the Middle East, specifically within the Levant region and the region of Gaza. Basically, that's the broadest I'll put it, and the conflict in question basically generated a lot of controversy within other countries because many felt that the EBU applied a double standard. As I mentioned before, Russia was banned from competing for involving themselves in a conflict with Ukraine, another member of the EBU. And Israel is engaging as a country, as a government, not the participant, as a government is also engaging in a conflict with another state, the state of Palestine. And basically, many felt that because Russia was banned due to the conflict with Ukraine, Israel should be banned from competing because of their conflict with Palestine. Now, is it fair reasoning to say that this should be enacted? Well, yeah, but I believe that the EBU decided to keep Israel within the contest for one reason and one reason only. It may be pretty messed up logic, but I would say it's an ugly truth. By no means I support Israel in their governmental actions, by the way. I want to clarify that. But I'm just providing a reasoning as to why the EBU may have taken the decision to keep Israel within the contest and not ban them like they did with Russia. You see, when they banned Russia, they did it because of their engaged political conflict with Ukraine, which was another EBU member and still is. However, the state of Palestine is currently not an EBU member and they don't compete within Eurovision. And as messed up as that logic may be, I believe that is the only reason why they allowed Israel to compete. Because the conflicts in question were not with another member of the EBU. Now, another example I can provide for this is basically, there are very scarce examples, but I believe there are some examples out there somewhere. Spain competes as one of the big five that always qualifies for the final. However, they have engaged in armed conflicts with Moroccan forces relating to their enclave within northern Morocco. I don't remember. No. Yeah, their enclave within the south side of Spain. I believe it's Gibraltar. Basically, it was contested with the UK. I'm not sure. But yeah, another example is their conflict with Morocco, because they have another enclave over there. And yeah, both the UK and Morocco are EBU members, so they could have banned Spain for that also, but they didn't for some reason. They're still competing. And yeah, basically they can move their things around, but I truly don't know why they allowed Israel to compete. My best guess is the use of that logic. Since Palestine isn't an EBU member, then they allowed Israel to compete despite of their actions within Gaza. Now, moving forward, that was one of the greater controversies that was held this year. And unfortunately, before we move on, I also have to add that the controversy regarding Israel was heavily directed towards the artist Eden Golan, even though she did nothing wrong. She even responded to a question during one of the interviews that she had. Basically, they asked her, "Are you aware that your presence here puts all of us in danger," or something like that? And basically, she responded in the most professional way possible, saying that she believes that she is there for one reason and one reason only, and that is to perform and to enjoy the unison that music provides for all of us, something like that. Basically, a very unitary response, and it's a very professional way to respond to that sort of thing. It's like, for example, you were a pitcher for the Israel baseball team, which actually happened recently. They participated in the World Baseball Classic. It's like you're a pitcher for the baseball team for Israel, and then after the match, you're interviewed about the conflict. Like, you're representing Israel at the national level simply to compete. You're not advocating anything directly that has to do with that conflict, so it doesn't have to do anything. Same thing goes for Eurovision. Yes, it may be true that some of Israel's participation, the financial gain that they gain from this competition may go towards funding those conflicts, but once again, that is not up to the average viewer. That is up to the people who actually cast their votes towards Israel and provide that financial aid to them. Since I didn't vote because I'm broke, I have nothing to do with that. So, yeah. Is it wrong? Yeah, but I have nothing to do with it. Next up, we have Luxembourg's participation. Luxembourg participated in Eurovision since its early days in the 50s. However, and before this contest, they actually participated for the last time in 1993. Basically, the way Eurovision worked before was under a relegation system. The bottom-placed countries actually were disqualified from participating in Eurovision until they actually proved themselves worthy again in the following years. What happened, though, was that in 1993, when the system was still in place, Luxembourg was actually to be relegated. But then the following years, the system was scrapped in favor of the newer system that removed relegation completely and just allowed all countries to participate. However, what happened was that after relegation, Luxembourg just didn't apply for participating again until now, 2024, when they participated for the first time since 1993. And they actually qualified for the finals. Now, so that's one of the more noticeable narratives, because the song that Luxembourg had was actually a pretty cool one, Fighter, and it did qualify for the final, so bonus points for that. Another one of the narratives Another one of the narratives that were most noticeable was Joost Klein's Europapa. Now, besides Italy's song, I believe the Netherlands had the most viral, the most influential, and the most out there song out of any other song in Eurovision. The song is about a boy, who is trying to make his way throughout Europe because he sees no borders within Europe, and that is a fact. In the European Union, you can actually travel within countries without restrictions. Like the song says, you can visit your friends in France or your cousins in Vienna, Austria. Wherever you want to go within the European Union, you can do so. And that is the benefit of being united. When you're in unison, you can go to wherever you want without worrying what might happen to you. And yeah, that's the honest truth within Europe. And that is the main theme that this song had. It's a story about a boy who's traveling throughout Europe, to France, to Germany, to Austria, to Spain, to France, all those sorts of countries. And yeah, he's having the time of his life. And it's like a Europop song. It's like this active, it's like a mix of techno with like European influence, stuff like that. And yeah, basically, it was the most, if not the most, then the second most popular song across all of them. And yeah, it was pretty good. It was like one of the most influential songs within the public eye. And it's sad to see how the song came to be within the final. But we'll discuss that later on. Next up was, the Spain's participation in Nebulosa's Zorra. The controversy surrounding it is that Zorra, when it comes to the Spanish culture, like not Spanish as a language, Spain as a country, in Spain, normally Zorra has a different meaning than in the Spanish language. Zorra literally means fox or vixen. Like, if you were to refer to a fox in the woods, you refer to it as un zorro en el bosque, like a fox in the woods. Zorra, however, when you mention zorra, like a female version of a fox, you are referring to a bitch. In Spain, zorra refers to a bitch, and Spain submitted this song with the title Zorra because Nebulosa reportedly wanted to reiterate the word and use it to empower women instead of degrading it. However, given that not everybody in Spain listens to Eurovision, most people didn't catch on to this message, and that generated a bit of controversy because not everyone was rocking with the song having a theme and a title around the word zorra, which quite literally in Spanish culture means bitch. It's like saying that the song's message is, I am that bitch, but no, it didn't quite catch on with the Spanish crowd, hence why it didn't do well in the final. Another narrative is Switzerland's The Code, sung by Nemo. The song is about an anonymous figure, presumably the artist, finding their way throughout their journey of identity. Because Nemo, the artist, is actually not binary. And what that means is that they don't identify as a man or a woman, but rather like an ambiguous person in or in between or not exactly those two, but around those two genders. So creating an entirely new gender. And basically, Nemo's song actually ended up qualifying for the final and being within one of the top songs of the final votes. And that's basically the main narrative. It was a prime source of discussion throughout the final, as well as the Netherlands and Croatia, as I mentioned, and Italy, and all those songs. And the final two songs also have narratives around them. Ukraine's Teresa Maria by Aliona and Jerry Heil. Basically, it's a song that talks about Christian figures. I'm not sure which ones right now, but yeah, basically it has to do with those figures, and it was actually a great song by all means. The artist gave a tremendous vocal performance during the final, and yeah, it was one of the best songs, one of the top songs. However, I believe that Ukraine's main performance within recent years, o sea, from 2021 onwards, has been motivated by their mentioned controversy with Russia. Basically, Ukrainians have been the victims of multiple attacks from the former, and yeah, basically, that is one of the main reasons why they have received a lot of public votes recently. Now, basically what happened was that Ukraine's song, by all means, they actually received a number of favorable votes. They actually placed third this competition with 453 points. Yeah. However, most of those points actually came from the public, because the jury only gave them 146, placing them fifth. But they were third in the public votes with 307 votes. I believe that's also what won them the contest 2 years ago, when it was held in Rome, I believe it was held. I don't remember, but yeah. Basically, Eurovision 2022 was actually won by Ukraine, mainly because of their victims of war. But yeah, basically the 2022 contest was held in Turin, not Rome, sorry. But yeah, Ukraine actually ended up winning the whole contest, and like I said before, a large majority of their votes were actually public votes instead of jury votes, like this year's edition. This year's edition would have them placed a lot lower than third. But basically in the final of that year's contest, Ukraine had a grand total of 631 points, one of the highest ever for a country. They actually only had 192 points, which would have placed them 10th place, but they had 439 televote points, which was one of the highest totals ever. But yeah, aside from that, Ukraine's song, conflicts aside, was a very good song, and they deserve all their flowers, but I believe their performance was largely motivated by the conflict, and thus they received higher vote count because of it. So, next up, the UK song. It actually also received its fair amount of criticism. It's a good and catchy song, but I would compare it to Blake Roman's Poison, because, let's face it, the song in itself is gay. Like, you see the final performance, and that's just, like, flamboyance all around. And, yeah, I'm not discriminating, but I'm just saying, that's the main theme of this song. You can see it in the choreography and the lyrics and the performance itself. That's the main theme. And as such, it didn't stick well with all the crowds, because not everyone is tolerant towards those themes. But yeah, that's a main reason why the UK was actually the only country to receive 0 televotes during this year's contest. They remained with their 40-something jury votes, and that's it. Now that we discussed the main narratives, let's discuss their performances. These performances also have a bit of the narrative in themselves, but yeah. We're going to talk first with the semi-final, and then we're going to talk with the final. As I mentioned before, or not, I don't remember, basically, the top 10 countries within each semi-final qualify for the final. The final had a total of 26 countries, 10 from each semi-final, because there's 2 semi-finals. The Big Five, which is like the top 5 like contributors to Eurovision financially, which are France, Italy, Germany, Spain, and the UK. They automatically qualify every year, as well as the host. The host this year was Sweden, so naturally they qualify automatically. So it was Sweden, the Big Five, and the top 10 from each semi-final, 26. Now, semi-final 1. Who ended up winning? The winner of semi-final 1 was Croatia with their song Rim Tim Tagiden. They ended up winning the semi-final with 177 points. How did they end up winning? Well, let's give them the rundown. Sorry. Yeah. They received 177 points, with 12 points. For those of you who didn't know, 12 points is the maximum points a jury can give to a specific country. That's giving them all their votes. And Croatia, in the semi-final, received 12 points. 12 points from Serbia, Ukraine, Iceland, Slovenia, Australia, Germany, and Sweden. Serbia, Ukraine, Iceland, Slovenia, Finland, Azerbaijan, Germany, and Sweden. Those were the 12 points from each of the countries. Second place, actually, by 4 points, was Ukraine, who had 173 points. They received 12 points from Cyprus, Lithuania, Poland, Portugal, and the rest of the world. Basically, the rest of the world is like the collective vote from every country that isn't within the EBU or Europe. And yeah, the rest of the vote voted that 12 votes should be awarded to Ukraine. 12 points. Third place within the semi-final was Bambi Fugs, Doomsday Blue, Ireland. I forgot to mention Ukraine's song Alonya Alonya and Jerry Hives' Teresa and Maria placed second. Third place was Ireland with Band Thug's song with 124 points. They actually received 12 points. The most votes they received was 10 points from the UK and the rest of the world. Now, fourth place went to Lithuania, rightfully so, because they had one of the better songs in my opinion. They should have placed within the top 10 at least. But yeah, they received 12 points from Ireland and the UK. Now, fifth place, and I'll leave it at that. I'll just say the remaining countries. Fifth place actually went to Luxembourg, participating for the first time since 1993. They didn't receive any 12 points, but they received 10 points from Portugal. Now, I believe it's fair to mention that you can't actually vote for your own country. If you're Italy, you can't vote for Italy. That's just something to put it fair. Now, those were the top 5 within semifinal 1. Croatia, Ukraine, Ireland, Lithuania, and Luxembourg were the top 5. The other countries that qualified were Cyprus, Finland, Portugal, Slovenia, and Serbia. The countries that were left out of the semifinal were Australia, Poland, Moldova, Azerbaijan, and Iceland, placing last place. Now, the second semifinal actually featured 16 countries instead of 15. And the winner, the top 10 were actually set to qualify for the grand final. The top 10 were as follows. Israel actually controversially won the second semifinal with 194 points and their song Hurricane. Now, this is another controversy that followed. Basically, after the second semifinal, it was revealed, actually leaked, by Italy's broadcaster that the majority of Italy's televotes went to Israel, 30-something of the country's total televotes. And it says a lot, because the judges throughout the entire competition were actually under-rewarding Israel simply because they existed within the contest. I believe in the final they received 50-something votes, which was a horrible score. But the televotes carried them to glory, including in this competition. Israel actually received the most televotes in the semifinal. They received 10 12-point totals. They were the all-around winner. They received 12 points from Albania, Switzerland, Czechia, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, France, Italy, Spain, and the rest of the world. The only countries that didn't give them 12 points were Malta, Greece, Austria, Latvia, Georgia, Belgium, and Estonia. Fun fact, Estonia and Armenia were actually the only countries that didn't give Israel double digits. Everyone else gave them either 12 or 10 points, and it says a lot. I would like to think that Israel's competition, as a performance, was great, which it was, but I would like to believe that all of those votes were motivated simply because they had a great performance. But I find that very hard to believe, because there are a lot of sympathizers within those countries that support Israel's actions during their, mentioned conflict. And I find it very hard to believe that all of those votes were simply for the love of the song. I would like to believe it, but I find it very hard to believe. Now, 194 points. Israel won the second semifinal. Second place, by 12 points actually, ironically, went to the Netherlands, rightfully so. I believe Europapa should have won the whole thing. They qualified for the finals with 182 points. They received the second most 12-point totals. They received 4 12 points from Malta, Greece. Yeah, no, Greece didn't give Israel 12 points, sorry. They received 12 points from Malta, Greece, Austria, and Belgium. There were other countries that gave them 10 points, like Albania, Switzerland, Czechia, Denmark, San Marino, Estonia, and the rest of the world, along with Italy. And yeah, there's that. So, okay, sorry. Third place for the contest was actually Armenia. They received 12 points from Georgia and Israel. And they placed pretty well, third place. It was a great song by all means. But yeah, moving forward, fourth place went to Switzerland with their song The Code. They received 12-point total from San Marino. They didn't do well in the other categories, but yeah, fifth and final place within the top 5, I believe, went to Greece. They received 12 point from Armenia. And yeah, those are the top 5. Once again, the qualifiers from each semifinal are as follows. The first semifinal saw Cyprus, Serbia, Lithuania, Ireland, Ukraine, Poland, Croatia, Iceland, Slovenia, and Finland. Actually, I am completely wrong, sorry. The first semifinal saw Croatia, Ukraine, Ireland, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Cyprus, Finland, Portugal, Slovenia, and Serbia, in that order, qualified for the final, as well as Israel, the Netherlands, Armenia, Switzerland, Greece, Estonia, Latvia, Georgia, Austria, and Norway, in that order, qualified for the final. Some countries I would have loved to see, but sadly didn't qualify for the final, are Belgium. I believe their song was slightly too generic for the judges' taste. And another country within the first semifinal, actually, that I would have loved to see was Azerbaijan. Actually, to me, the worst songs were like Moldova's song. Actually, like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, to me, that was the worst song. It was not catchy at all. It might have been cultural, but there was no catchy element. And that's what Eurovision is about. And to me, the worst song within the second semifinal, I don't know, I can't put my eye on it. But yeah, when it came to the final, actually, another controversy ensued, and that was the Netherlands. Unfortunately, the Netherlands were disqualified from participating in the final because days before the actual final took place, an incident surfaced with the competitor of the Netherlands, Joost Klein, where he was entering the green room, which is like backstage, and a camera woman was recording him against his consent. They actually reached an agreement that performers couldn't be recorded once they immediately left from their performances. And yeah, the camera woman was in all fault, in my opinion. She violated the agreement, and basically repeatedly told her to not record him, sorry. And they continued to do so when Joost made a threatening gesture, like with his face or something. He did not touch the camera woman at all. And basically, this incident was reported and resulted in the Netherlands' total disqualification from the final, despite already having qualified. What ensued later was that during the final, when they were set to perform, 5th overall, a video replay of their performance of the semifinal was played on the screen while the other performance was getting ready. The 6th to perform, ironically enough, was Israel's Hurricane. But yeah, it actually says a lot about the EBU's priorities. They disqualified Youst for a simple incident where he did not have any fault at all, and they allowed Israel, despite their ongoing political conflict, to compete. It says a lot about the EBU's priorities, but I don't make the rules. And I forgot to mention that the explanation for the Netherlands incident was provided by Avostros, the Dutch broadcaster. Many thanks to them. And yeah, that was another controversy that ensued. And also during the semi-final, the final, and basically any performance that involved Israel, the artist was heavily booed upon during their performance, including during press conferences, backstage, everywhere that she stepped foot that were in private, she was booed when she didn't have any fault at all. And I think that is a very unprofessional thing to do. Like, yeah, it's one thing to not support Israel's actions. I don't support Israel's actions. But it's another thing to borderline harass the artist for something they don't even have fault for. Who knows if the artist even supports Israel's actions to begin with. And yeah, it says a lot about the public's priorities when respect, like, it erases respect completely from what I've seen. And yeah, I don't support the hate that the artist has been getting at all. Do I support Israel's competing in the contest? No, but I also don't support the disrespect that the artist, who did an amazing job, I'm pretty sure, has been receiving. Now, I also support the fact that Israel only received 50-something votes from the jury, which was one of the lowest amounts. Rightfully so, they were acting in their own behalf. However, I find it very shocking that Israel actually received the second most televotes out of any country in the final. Israel received 323 points, which catapulted the country to 5th place. Had they received no votes, had they received no votes, they would have placed 18th. And yeah, says a lot. So out of 25 countries participating, with the Netherlands being disqualified, that's why it's 25 instead of 26. Basically, the winners are as follows. I'm going to mention the top 10, and basically the third through first place ended up winning. And I'm going to mention them separate first, jury and televoting, and then combined. The top 10 in televoting was Lithuania with 58 points, Armenia with 82, Greece with 85, Italy with 104, Ireland with 136, Switzerland with 226, France with 227, Ukraine with 307, Israel with 323, and first place for televotes was Croatia with 337, rightfully so. After the Netherlands was disqualified, Croatia, to me, was the favorite to win. I wanted them to win. Top 10 in jury votes was Germany with 99, surprisingly, Armenia with 101, Sweden with 125, Portugal with 139, Ireland with 142, Ukraine with 146, Italy with 164, Croatia with 210, third place, second place France with 218, and first place Switzerland with 365. Now, the top 10 overall: Portugal with 152, 10th place, Sweden with 174, the host country, 9th place, Armenia with 183, 8th place, Italy with 268, 7th place, Ireland again with 278, 6th place. It's also funny to mention that Ireland placed 6th overall, 6th in the jury, and 6th in televoting. 666. It's a coincidence, I know, but it's pretty funny because it's reminiscent of the, demonic themes that were mentioned before. It's kind of funny. Unfortunately, Israel actually placed 5th place ahead of all those countries with 375 points. Was the performance great? Yes, it was like one of the greatest performances in the contest. However, I don't believe they should have placed that high. There should have been some repercussion due to their actions if they were allowed to compete. The jury did give them these repercussions, but it seems like the public didn't catch on. 4th place is France with 445 points. To me, this was my 2nd place. But yeah. Ukraine, with their stellar performance of Teresa and Maria, placed 3rd place overall. They actually broke the spot of death curse. It means that the country that performed 2nd overall in the contest final, which was Ukraine, usually doesn't do very well in the contest, as in recent memory. However, Ukraine broke this curse, largely due to their televote, by placing 3rd. And it says a lot. It's really good. Now, 2nd place, and to me this was heartbreaking because this was my winner. With 547 points, 2nd place went to Croatia with their song Rim Ding Dagi Dim by Baby Lasagna. This was my winner. Croatia had never won Eurovision before, and to me, this was the country that should have won. However, the winner eventually, with 591 votes, one of the highest overall, along with Croatia actually, in history, was Switzerland with Nemo's The Code. And yeah, that's it. Top 3, Switzerland, Croatia, and Ukraine. I believe that some countries that deserved better were Lithuania, placed 14th. That was one of my favorite songs. It's catchy, you know. Estonia deserved better. The Netherlands deserved better, 100%. How can you tell me that you were disqualified because of a simple incident like that, where the guy didn't even have any fault, when you allow Israel, I'm not going to mention why, Israel to compete? It says a lot. I'm still upset about that. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. To me, the countries that deserve better were Lithuania, Estonia, and the Netherlands, 100%. If the Netherlands weren't disqualified, they would have easily placed top 5, I assure you. But yeah, there's that. Now that was our discussion of Eurovision. Oh, I forgot to mention, during the final, I'll discuss the 12 points. Obviously, as the winner, Switzerland was the one that received the most 12-point totals. They received 12 points from Ukraine, Luxembourg, Azerbaijan, San Marino, Malta, Albania, Denmark, Spain, Norway, Georgia, Greece, Estonia, the Netherlands, Austria, Italy, Finland, Portugal, Latvia, Ireland, Poland, Lithuania, and Sweden. Wow. "22 12-point totals. That says a lot. The other 12 points went 4 12 points to France from Armenia, Slovenia, Belgium, and Iceland. 2 12 points to Ukraine by Czechia and Moldova, and to Croatia by Cyprus and Serbia. I'm checking the votes, sorry. 3 12 points to Portugal by the UK, Croatia, and France. And 1 12-point total one to Sweden by Germany, one to Ireland by Australia, and one to Portugal by Austria. Yeah, it says a lot. It says a lot, like the total 12 points that were received by each country. And actually, now Croatia receives a lot more than 4 12-point totals. What am I on about? What am I even looking at? Oh, yeah, sorry. Those 12-point totals were from the jury. Virtually every 12-point total within the televote was given to either Israel or France, which was, it says a lot, actually. Pero, yeah, Switzerland received the most 12 points by the juries, which was 22. And Israel received the most 12 points from the televote with 15. Second place in jury was France with 4, and second place in the public was Croatia, rightfully so, with 9. Now, what can we take away from this contest? Overall, it was a pretty great contest, I would say. It had all around great songs and great culture, and that's what Eurovision is about, being united by music. And yeah, I won't discuss the previous winners who were actually at the contest, other than Marine, who, as tradition, as the previous winner, gave the trophy to Nemo, this year's winner. And discussions are currently in place as for which city in Switzerland will hold the 2025 contest. I believe Saint Basel, Geneva, St. Gallen, Basel, Zurich, and Geneva are the countries that are interested in participating. But yeah, I believe that's the main list. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for listening to this great episode. Let's just hope that the landscape, the circumstances between those contests get better over time. As it stands, things are a mess and they need to get better. But nonetheless, thank you all for listening. We will see you all in the next one, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you.